Let's start with who the Padres got in this deal. What is the player? Who is Luis Arraez? Well, quite simply, Luis Arraez is one of the best pure hitters in baseball. And I'll read through his career numbers year by year because I really think it stands out. 2019, his rookie season, 334 batting average, 399 on base percentage. 2020, 321 batting average, 364 on base percentage. 2021, he hit 294 with a 357 on base percentage. 2022, a 316 batting average, that's a National League best, 375 on base percentage. 2023, a 354 batting average, that was the best in the major leagues, 393 on base percentage. 2024, 299 batting average, 347 on base percentage. So again, the last 2 years he has led the National League in hitting at 316 and then 354 last season. And this year got off to a slow start and is hitting 299. So he's right there at 300 once again. What Luis Arraez does is put the bat on the baseball. He is a pure hitter. Doesn't have a ton of power, although when you look at his home run numbers over the course of his career, they almost surprise you. Last year he had 10. The year before that he had 8. That power has increased a little bit the last couple of years, but what he does, he puts the bat on the ball and he does not strike out. He struck out 34 times in 617 plate appearances last year, 43 times in 603 plate appearances in 2022. He puts the ball in play. He finds ways to get on base. And from the on-base and bat-to-ball skill perspective, you will not find many better than Luis Arraez. Maybe none better right now in baseball. And he's done it both in Minnesota and he's done it now in Miami as well. So does he make this lineup better? Absolutely. He adds a lot to this lineup. He adds a degree of bat-to-ball skills that is really, really rare to find. And Arraez has done it year after year after year. It lengthens this lineup. I tweeted out the potential lineup for the Padres earlier. And again, this does not include the potential addition of Donovan Solano at some point. But let's forget about Solano right now. And let's just focus on what this lineup likely looks like. And again, these parts can be moved around. I'm not saying this is necessarily where everybody's going to hit, but maybe it is what it looks like when all is said and done and when Luis Arraez is added to this lineup. It's Arraez. Let's put him at DH for this exercise. Fernando Tatis Jr. in right field, batting second. Jake Cronenworth at first base. Manny Machado at third. Xander Bogaerts at second. Jurickson Profar in left. Luis Campusano, the catcher. Ha-Seong Kim at shortstop. And Jackson Merrill, the center fielder. As long as the guys in this lineup, like Tatis and Machado and Bogaerts and Cronenworth, continues to do what he's been doing, and you get what you think you're going to get from Campusano, if somehow Jurickson Profar keeps up what he's doing at this kind of rate, that's awesome. Even if he comes back down to earth a little bit, that's okay. Kim, certainly you hope for more from him, and obviously Merrill got off to a nice start, has scuffled a little bit. You hope he bounces back here in the coming days and weeks. It lengthens this lineup a lot. It does. And it gives them just a bona fide, pure hitter. It makes the offense better. It makes the lineup better. And I love it in a place like Petco Park where you can spray the ball around. He should thrive there in a park that has a lot of room to roam. So it makes this offense a lot better. And he is a terrific, pure hitter. That is what Luis Arraez is. Bottom line. So it's an exciting acquisition, no doubt about it. And the other good part about it, this is not a trade where you only have him till the end of this year. It's a trade, much like the Dylan Cease trade, where you have him through the end of next year. So that is certainly a lot of added value. But does it make this offense better? Does it make this lineup better? Absolutely. You can't add a guy like Luis Arraez and not have it make your offense better. This is a better lineup than it was a few hours ago. And it lengthens the lineup as well. It really does. And it also, I think, really takes care of the DH spot one way or another. Now, we'll see how the Padres and A.J. Preller and Mike Schultz want to use Arraez. He's somebody who can play the infield, obviously, play second base for the most part. look, this may be sort of a revolving door at DH. Now the Padres have a lot of infielders. They've got Cronenworth, they've got Machado, they've got Bogarts, they've got Kim. Um, this could be a situation where that DH becomes a bit of a revolving door, gets guys off their feet. Maybe most days it's Arraez, maybe most days it's not. But certainly you can now shuffle guys around on any given day to fit some different needs and use that DH in a lot of different ways. And Arraez can play first base as well, which is nice. So, again, it gives the Padres, I think, some flexibility. I think the question about the DH spot gets answered one way or another on any given night with Arraez, and he is a great hitter. What did the Padres give up? They didn't give up nothing. They gave up, number one, their first-round pick from a year ago, Dylan Head, who is really talented, who is really fast, who at this moment was playing at Low A Lake Elsinore. Dylan Head is a ways away. Now, Dylan Head may end up being a great player. He's certainly somebody the Padres were very high on. They were still very high on him this spring. Tons of speed, a guy that they think will hit for more power eventually, and has great bat-to-ball skills. They give up Dylan Head. Jacob Marcy, somebody the Padres were looking at spring training, had a big Arizona Fall League, and is somebody who could be a good major leaguer. Nathan Martorella was off to a really nice start in the minor leagues this year. Again, somebody who had a really nice season in 2023 in the minor leagues, and somebody who was around Major League spring training for a while. And then the final part of the trade, Usak Go, who, look, the Padres signed out of Korea. I'll tell you this, Go did not make the major league roster at spring training, and there was a reason for that, whether that is stuff he has to work on, him not being ready, or the fact, or not the fact, or just it wasn't there, at least in spring training. And the Padres not only send Go to Miami, they also get the money off their books as they add Arraez. So, I'm not really focused on the Go part of it at all, to be quite honest with you. I think, look, it's a good part of it for the Padres because they get some money off the books as they add some money now in Arraez. But look, I wish Go the best with the Marlins, and we'll see, kind of what develops with him as far as the major leagues. But he's somebody the Padres signed out of Korea, and I didn't end up making the team at a spring training. So, and it wasn't apparent that was going to happen necessarily anytime soon. So Go heads over to Miami. But look, the mix of Head, Marcy, and Martorella, did the Padres give up some talent? They did. Did they give up the top-tier talent in their minor league system? Look, Head came into today ranked as the number 6 prospect in the Padres system. Marcy was number 9. And again, not that these prospect rankings mean everything. They do mean something. Marcy number 9, Martorella number 13. I know there was belief within the organization that Marcy could be a contributor. The Padres really did give him a look during spring training, elected to send him to Double-A for more development. They didn't give up nothing, but again, they didn't give up the top tier part of their system, and they didn't give up, I think most importantly, any of their top tier young pitching, which is hard to find. Snelling, Lesko, Mazer, Berger, guys that may be able to help, especially I think in the case of somebody like Adam Mazer pretty soon here. I wouldn't be shocked to see Adam Mazer in the major leagues at some point this year. So you got to give up something to get something. The Padres, did they give up potentially 3 major leaguers in Head, Martorella, and Marcy? Yeah, they may have. But I think based on the strength of the system, I'm okay with it. I really am. I really think I'm okay with it based on the strength of the system and who the Padres still have. And also, look, and you know what? We got to take a legal ID here. So let's step aside for one moment, pause for station identification. We'll come back in a moment on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios as we break down a lot here tonight. The Padres winning 7-1 over the Arizona Diamondbacks. They've won now 3 in a row. Padres now 17-18. And on top of all that, the Padres reportedly trading for infielder Luis Arraez from the Miami Marlins. But just to put a bow on the conversation about the prospects the Padres gave up, look, again, you got to give up something to get something. Could Marcy be good? Sure. Could Martorella be a good major leaguer? Sure. Could Head be a good major leaguer? It's a great major leaguer? Sure. I'm not saying there was no talent given up. Those are all top 15 prospects in the organization as of this morning. But I think based on the strength of the system, based on some of the guys that really aren't going anywhere. I mean, consider this, right? I mean, the Padres right now have 2 outfielders in Tatis and Merrill, and first baseman in Cronenworth. You know, at least for now, Jake's at first base, and a lot of infielders that aren't going anywhere. So I think you have to keep that in mind. And I also think the fact that the Padres didn't touch the young pitching, I think, is a big deal. I think that would have made this hurt a little bit more, quite a bit more, had there been a guy like Snelling or a Lesko or a Mazer or a Bergert in this trade. But I thought A.J. Preller did a good job in avoiding those guys while also maintaining plenty of position player strength in his system. And those guys are a little bit younger. As I think about it as we're talking here, and we'll go to break here in a second and kind of reset things, I guess the one negative out of the group is that when you talk about it from a more immediately available position player perspective, Marcy and Martorella were towards the top of those guys who could be ready even at some point this season. Somebody like a Salas, certainly somebody like a Leo DeVries, unless they end up rushing Salas to the major leagues this season, they're a little bit more of a ways away. But you look at the Padres roster, and aside from really, especially now with the rise, bench spots and utility spots, as we're seeing right now with Graham Pauley in the major leagues, there's not necessarily those at-bats to get anyway right now or in the next year or two. So, again, you got to give up something, but you get back one of the best hitters in baseball, if not the best pure contact, get on base, average hitter in the game. And, you give up a little bit, but you also keep a lot in what is considered a very strong system. All right. We'll let you sound off about it when we come back. We'll take your phone calls, your tweets, your DMs, your YouTube comments here in a second after this break. Again, the phone number, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973, the phone number to call. Again, the final score here tonight, Padres 7, Diamondbacks 1. Much more post-game coverage coming after this on the Padres Radio Network.